Fighting games can be intimidating. I mean, it is an entire genre about throwing and catching hands. That reality that anyone, even you, can be on the receiving end of a virtual beating is enough to put off a ton of would-be players. Even if you do get past that entry hurdle and find yourself lost in that fighting game sauce, it's still a common and sad occurrence for fighting game players to be a little tribalistic. A whole lot of my game is for manly men, real gamers, while everyone else is in the daycare for little babies, and that mentality can stop existing fans from branching out and trying new stuff. But you should. A good fighting game can be so fun, and whether they scare you a little, or you think you're playing the pinnacle of footsies already, I'm here to say you really ought to hop on BlazBlue Central Fiction. Since its original arcade release in 2008, BlazBlue has seen quite a few sequels and revisions, each one adding characters and changing around core system mechanics. Central Fiction is the culmination of nearly a decade of refinement, resulting in a beautiful, sprite-based 2D fighting game with 36 characters that's really fun to play at literally any skill level. Mechanically, BlazBlue is a 4-button fighter. The face buttons are labeled A through D by the game, and A through C are your light, medium, and heavy attacks. The heavier the attack, the slower it is, but the more damage it does. Basic stuff. Those buttons can usually be chained together in ascending order for a very basic combo structure that carries across most of the cast and makes any character you pick up work on a basic level. That's standard anime fighter stuff and it works great here. That D button, however, is where the fun begins. The D, or drive button, as the game calls it, performs a special action that changes from character to character. Basically a fun button. That's right, BlazBlue has a fun button. The main character, Ragna, for instance, has life-stealing powers, so his drive attacks restore health when he lands them. Meanwhile, Jin's drive taps into his ice powers to freeze the opponent. Characters, of course, still have your usual fireballs and dragon punch motion special moves on top of this, but that drive button is such a genius way to compartmentalize a character's core thing. Whether it's shooting guns, turning into a werewolf, or concocting spells as a witch, the drive button is usually a quick way to start doing cool stuff, and it makes BBCF an excellent beer game to play with friends. Get some friends over, boot this thing up, pass the controllers around, and most people are going to come out of it with at least one favorite character. And the characters are sick, by the way. A quick look at the roster gives off an anime tropes grab bag kind of vibe, and embracing that gives BlazBlue's cast a kind of instant familiarity that makes the characters very easy to understand and connect with. We got edgy boys, we got big boys, we got ninjas, one of them is a cat, we got 2 different flavors of cat girls, a werewolf, a magical girl, whatever the hell Arakune is, robot girls, legally distinct Attack on Titan, and grown ass women. Yes, there is someone for every kind of player. Whether you like cool characters or silly ones, there's an extremely complicated storyline tying them all together as well. I'll be honest here, I did play through BlazBlue's story mode, but I'm not a huge lore buff or anything like that. There are absolutely people who are way into the story of BlazBlue, but I am not one of them. I do think it's really cool how that element of the game can draw people in, and it's a testament to the character designs and gameplay of BBCF that I can not care about the story and still enjoy my time with it as much as I have. As I put my time in with Central Fiction, I grew to appreciate more and more how much you can build on your basic knowledge of the game and really go as deep as you want to. All the more advanced mechanics build on the basics and really help to ease you into that higher level and just get better. Things like the barrier block and roll recovery come natural, but a great example of this is the heat bar. This is your average fighting game super meter, but how you use it gets more interesting the better you get at the game. It can be as simple as just using it for a super move or the flashy Astral Heat finishers, which are very fun by the way. But as you get better, you may want to start spending it on rapid cancels for combo extensions or to make attacks safe when they would normally be punishable. That same meter can be spent on counter assaults while blocking to get someone off of you, which gets more important as you go up against better players. As you get better, you learn when you like to save the bar, when to spend it, and on what. Even if the deepest you want to go is making sure you land your favorite super move every match. Can't even say I blame you if that's the case, because some of these are pretty cool. Another pair of really cool mechanics BBCF has are its burst and overdrive systems. It's pretty common for anime style fighters like this to have a burst you can use to get an opponent off of you while you're being comboed. It's a rarer resource than heat, but escaping combos or pressure is obviously very good. In Central Fiction though, you can use that same resource offensively to activate overdrive, which activates a character specific power up and keeps the opponent from bursting themselves. Now, do you save that burst, or go on an all out offense with a powered up character? That's going to change based on your character, the matchup, and how the match is going, or even just how you prefer to play. But either way, these are very interesting choices to be making with this kind of resource. It's not hard to use, you just press all 4 buttons to do it, but whether you hoard your burst for the absolute worst case scenario, or pop overdrive at round start to try and overwhelm the other player, you are still expressing yourself through Central Fiction's mechanics in an interesting way. Now I could go on and on about even more mechanical stuff, but I think you get the idea. You actually don't need me to go over everything even if I wanted to, because BlazBlue Central Fiction, unlike some fighting games, is a complete and feature-rich product that includes an excellent tutorial among its many game modes. Also included is a pretty lengthy story mode, 3 separate arcade ladders per character, and time and score attack modes. Grim of Abyss mode here is also pretty cool with its RPG mechanics and skill system, and the bosses in this mode are something else, man. I still haven't done everything here, and while fighting game single player content is not everyone's cup of tea, there is a lot of it on offer here if that is your thing. If you are more of a multiplayer person though, the game also got patched with excellent rollback netcode, which works really well. And that's saying something, because some fighting games, even today, launch with terrible online, and BBCF's post-patch netcode is some of the best I have ever played on. Seriously, I live in the US and get actually very playable games with one of my best friends all the way in Vietnam. The netcode really is that good. And speaking of the online, while ranked matchmaking isn't exactly dead, and you can always find lobbies to play in, for most, meeting new players is going to come down to joining the pretty lively BB communities on places like Discord and Reddit. I'll drop some links in the description. I've seen lesser populated games, in comparison to whatever the hot new games are, derisively called Discord fighters by some, but I think this is a pretty bad attitude to have. Oftentimes you can find a consistent and passionate pool of players for these older titles, and even make friends within these smaller communities, and the BlazBlue scene is no exception. This is going to come down to personal preference, but I don't think a consistent stream of randos who would just as soon one and done or rage quit on you is more valuable than someone who responds to a game's ping on Discord for a set. Or even better, playing with and improving alongside the friends you already have if you decide to get into a game like BlazBlue together. One concern I see regularly from new players about older games that I do empathize with though, is having to catch up with players that have been on the game for a decade. Feeling like you gotta learn all the optimal stuff or you just die because the water's full of killer sharks after your lunch money. That Discord I mentioned does have ways to matchmake specifically with beginners, but even if you do find yourself up against someone better than you, I honestly think just being kinder to yourself is the move. Remember, you're learning, and it's okay if you don't win right away. Just try to focus on playing better, having fun over winning or losing. Way too many newbies are too hard on themselves. This is kind of general fighting game advice, but for real, don't forget to have fun. That is why we're here. Like, my friends and I aren't gods or anything, we just get on the game and play. You might have even noticed that a lot of the footage here is me getting bodied, but that's okay. Losing isn't a big deal if you have friends to play with and the game is fun. I can't stress how much better it is, for me at least, losing in a game I enjoy, than winning in one I don't. And in case I haven't been clear, BlazBlue Central Fiction is fun. It's one of my all-time favorite fighting games. Real GOAT material. Excellent gameplay, timeless sprite art, a killer soundtrack, and this dog. I could go on and on about things this game does that I love, like how the characters aren't massive so you can really use the widescreen space in the neutral, how things like the property system make consistently anti-airing really rewarding without invulnerable buttons dominating neutral like a 6p can in certain other games. But look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Do you need anything else? From casual mashers, lore enjoyers, the sweatiest tryhards, or just someone looking for a fun party game, BBCF has something for everyone. You don't have to be an immediate pro or quit whatever game you're playing right now to jump in. It's on the PlayStation, it's on the Switch, you can get it on Steam. I got it on my laptop right now. I'm about to play that right now. The video is over. I am tired of talking. Go play BlazBlue.